For what purpose does the gentleman from Nevada seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I have a motion to recommit at the desk.
Is the gentleman opposed to the bill?
I am opposed in its current form.
The gentleman qualifies. The clerk will report the motion.
Mr. Horsford of Nevada moves to recommit the bill H.R. 1105 to the Committee on Financial Services with instructions to report the same back to the House forthwith with the following amendment. Page 2, line 17, strike the quotation marks and final period and insert after such line the following. 3. Protecting American jobs. The exemption described under paragraph 1 shall only apply to an investment advisor providing investment advice to a fund that A. does not own a controlling interest in a company that outsources American jobs to other countries.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Virginia seek recognition?
Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent that the motion be dispensed as read.
Is there objection?
Thanks.
Without objection, the reading is dispensed with. The House will be in order. Pursuant to the rule, the gentleman from Nevada is recognized for 5 minutes in support of his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is the final amendment to the bill, which will not kill the bill or send it back to committee. If adopted, the bill will immediately proceed to final passage as amended.
The gentlelady is correct. The House will be in order. The gentleman may proceed. Gentleman may proceed.
The underlying bill would exempt almost every private equity fund from registration and reporting requirements under Dodd-Frank. It is another attempt by House Republicans to turn back the clock on progress that we've made to make sure Wall Street is helping Main Street. This bill, despite being titled the Small Business Capital Access and Job Preservation Act, has nothing to do with small business or creating jobs, and everything to do with chipping away at the safeguards put in place when Congress passed financial sector reform. Wall Street reform has made the financial system more transparent, reduced risk, and protected against systematic failure. Private equity fund advisors have been filing reports with the SEC for over a year now. We shouldn't be trying to gut the system of accountability and oversight. We should be building it up. We should be working together to make the reforms work and make them stronger. Mr. Speaker, the House is not in order.
The gentleman is correct. The House will be in order. Members will please take their conversations off the floor. The House will be in order. The gentleman may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. H.R. 1105 would roll back the progress by providing blanket registration and reporting exemptions, seriously hampering oversight. The motion to recommit I am offering would amend the underlying bill so that investment funds are only eligible if they do not own a controlling interest in companies that outsource American jobs to other countries. We would also require reporting about any downsizing at each company owned and controlled by the fund. Instead of decreasing transparency by Wall Street, we should be demanding greater public disclosure to protect consumers. We should not be encouraging outsourcing of American jobs overseas. We should be incentivizing companies to keep jobs right here in America and to bring them back. And we should not be encouraging downsizing or the elimination of jobs, but incentivizing companies to hire employees and to get the American public back to work. Now, when I go home to my district in Nevada and meet with constituents, they want to know what Congress is doing to create jobs. Mr. Speaker,
Gentleman is correct. Members will please take their conversations off the floor. The House will be in order. The gentleman may proceed.
When I go back to my district in Nevada and meet with constituents, they want to know what Congress is doing to create jobs. They aren't asking me to roll back reforms that make financial markets more stable. They aren't asking me to make life easier for Wall Street. They want this Congress focused on one street, Main Street, and on creating middle-class jobs to help grow the economy and put Americans back to work. And so it's telling that for this Congress, that with so few legislative days remaining in this year, we are focused our precious time on private equity fund advisors. This bill focuses the attention of Congress on the policy desires of an elite group that is doing just fine. They're asking for more secrecy. Why? That's not what we should be spending our time on. Instead of bringing an infrastructure bill to the floor that would create middle-class jobs, instead of passing comprehensive immigration reform, Mr. Speaker, to fix our broken system and to grow the economy, instead of passing workplace protections that prevent Americans from being fired because of who they love, instead of working to reduce food insecurity, instead of replacing the harmful sequester that is hurting everything from military contractors to economic activity for all Americans, instead of doing any of that, of doing what the American people are demanding of this Congress, the House GOP through H.R. 1105 are focusing their energy on gutting Wall Street reform.
The House will be in order. Members will please take their conversations off the floor. The gentleman may proceed.
So we have serious business that this body could be focused on. Business that many of our constituents on both sides of the aisle say they want us to address. But instead, we have H.R. 1105, a focus to gut Wall Street reform, and it is a quiet but concerted effort to once again turn back the clock on the American people. Not to mention, the underlying bill
time has expired.
is also a futile attempt because the President has already said
the gentleman's time has expired.
that he would veto the legislation. I urge my colleagues to vote yes for the motion to recommit, to vote yes to put the American public back to work, to put the middle class agenda on the House of Representatives, and to do the people's business. Let's get